Hi guys. Welcome to my next episode that is the third episode of I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World and Became Unrivaled in the Real World, too. I hope you guys are enjoying my videos. So, please subscribe and support us. Yuya Tenho changes his life in one miserable night in episode 1 of I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World and Became Unrivaled in the Real World, 2 titled, To Another World. An overweight boy who had to put up with constant bullying throughout his life finds himself in a secret room within his grandpa's house. The secrets, however, are otherworldly, and Tenho finds himself in a completely different world with skills he couldn't dream of acquiring in the real world. After exploring the other world and finding loot and skills that leveled him up to incredibly high stats, he dreads returning to school in the real world. However, everything seems different this time. Yuya used to be despised by everyone, even his own nuclear family, because of his looks. Despite this, his grandfather continued to care for him and advised him to always help others. One day, he saved Cory from some hooligans who were harassing her and got beaten up in the process. Later on, his grandfather passed away and left his property to Yuya. However, his parents disowned him for not being able to access the inheritance, leaving him alone, unloved, and bullied. Yuya got frustrated and punched his bathroom wall, which led to the discovery of his grandfather's hidden antique room. In that room, he found a door that led to another fantasy world with magic and a system. He leveled up there, but unbeknownst to him, his stats carried over to the real world, causing his body to transform into a perfect. When he returned to school, everyone was shocked, and his siblings were jealous of his change. During break time, Yuya's younger siblings and bullies cornered him at a secluded part of the school near the roadside. They tried to pressure him to find out how he achieved such a ridiculous transformation, but he gave a vague answer that further annoyed them. They felt like no matter what he did, he could never be better than them since he was not smart, athletic, or had a future. However, their verbal assault came to a halt when a luxury car came and stopped nearby. As Kaori steps out of a luxury car and calls out Ya's name, everyone is confused. Kaori, dressed in elite fashion, recognizes Ya and comments on how much slimmer he looks since their last meeting. Ya is surprised that Kaori knows his name, and Kaori reminds him that she was the damsel in distress he saved from thugs at a convenience store. As Ya gasps, memories of the event flash through his mind, but he is confused as to how Kaori knows his name. Kaori confesses that she had him investigated to thank him and acknowledges that it was rude of her. She then bluntly asks him to attend the super elite UCI Academy, which surprises Ya. Kaori apologizes for the late introduction and reveals that she is a student council officer at the school. Her aide adds that her father is the chairman of the UCI Academy board, who wants Ya to attend the academy after hearing how he saved Kaori. Despite this, Ya doesn't feel like he saved Kaori, as it was more like he got beaten up. Although he is grateful for the offer, he must decline due to his lack of academic ability to enroll his siblings. However, his siblings interrupt and plead to take his place, boasting about their superiority in both academics and sports. Before they can finish their pitch, Kaori cuts them off and declines their offer. She explains that she's indebted to Yas and wouldn't want anyone who insults him to enroll at the academy. Kaori reveals that she's aware of their spiteful behavior towards him, which has been thoroughly investigated. The siblings fall to the floor in despair, realizing that their chances of attending the school are now impossible. Kaori then turns her attention back to Yas and assures him that elite school prioritizes character strength over academic prowess, so his enrollment would not be a problem. She suggests showing him around the academy, but he is initially hesitant due to being in school. Kaori assures him that his principal will be informed of his absence. With that settled, Kaori excitedly takes his hand and leads him to the car. As they speed off, the siblings and bullies vow to seek revenge. Upon arriving at the renowned posh school, Yuya learns that its students excel in various fields and enrolling in it ensures future success. In the chairman's office, Yuya is offered admission as a reward for his heroic act of saving the chairman's daughter. Though Yuya feels unworthy as the school is only for geniuses, the chairman believes that everyone has unique talents, and the school's aim is to identify and nurture them. Yuya is reminded of his grandfather's wise words and is encouraged to spend the day on a trial enrollment. Masawada arrives before Yaya gives his answer, and the chairman introduces her as a popular scientist whose classes are easy to understand and loved by students. Although Yaya had already made plans, he decides to attend Masawada's class for the day. While waiting outside the classroom, Yaya worries about how the other students will react to him. As the teacher introduces him to the class, Yaya's apprehension increases due to his past negative experiences. Despite his hesitation, he enters the classroom and formally introduces himself. The students stare at him, making him self-conscious until a female student breaks the silence with a compliment on his good looks. All the girls are amazed by his presence, and even the most popular pretty boy acknowledges him as a formidable rival. The teacher brings the class back to reality and instructs Yaya to sit at the back row by the window. The lesson begins, and the teacher asks Hyudu to share her book with Yaya, who feels like he has made a mistake and that she dislikes him. However, this is far from the truth as his good looks make him popular even if he were to fart loudly. As he walked into class, Yan couldn't help but feel like an outsider. He had always been the outcast, the one nobody wanted to be friends with. But as the lesson progressed, Yan began to realize that this new academy wasn't so different from the schools he was used to. What set it apart, however, was the students. They were proactive and enthusiastic, and it seemed like everyone was having fun, something Yan had never experienced before. After class, a group of students gathered around Yan, eager to learn more about the new kid. Raya apologized for overwhelming him and introduced herself, inviting Yan to the cafeteria for some food. Yan was amazed at the variety and quality of the food available, and even more surprised at how affordable it was. Raya suggested the daily special as a safe pick, and Yan felt like he was in paradise. As they looked for a place to sit, they were waved over by Shindo, who noticed their shared love of anime and video games. As they sat down, Yan noticed that everyone in the cafeteria was staring at him, but he soon realized it was because of his different uniform. Despite feeling like an outsider at first, Yan was beginning to feel like he might just fit in at this new academy after all. As the school day drew to a close, Yuya eagerly made his way back to the chairman's office for a debrief. He couldn't contain his excitement as he recounted his amazement at the school and his desire to attend. With bated breath, Kaori waited outside, wondering what the verdict would be. Her heart swelled with joy when she heard that he was accepted, and the two of them headed off to explore the posh shops that the students frequented. As they strolled through the stores, Yuga couldn't help but notice Kaori's reserved demeanor. When he probed her about her lack of friends, she sheepishly explained that her family's prestige and her father's work made it difficult for her to connect with others. But Yuga was determined to show her a good time, and he suggested they try out a nearby crate store together. With their crates of ice cream in hand, they sat down to enjoy their treats, oblivious to the envious stares of their classmates. As they chatted and laughed, Yuya couldn't resist asking Kaori how she had recognized him despite his drastic transformation. As soon as Kaori looked into his eyes, she knew they hadn't changed a bit. They were still as honest and kind as she remembered. But little did she know, her compliment made him turn as red as a tomato. He addressed her formally, which annoyed her a little. Hadn't they become good friends by now? She wanted him to call her by her first name to celebrate their friendship. To break the ice, they decided to exchange bites of their crepes. It was a sweet moment that made them both blush. Meanwhile, the other girls around them couldn't help but comment on how adorable they looked. Later, Yia put on his new armor and stepped into the fantasy world. He wasn't sure how much time he'd have once the enrollment procedures were completed, so he wanted to level up as much as possible. As soon as he entered the world, he was met with a monstrous creature trying to break through the barrier. Even though he was scared, he managed to vanquish the creature with a swift attack. He checked his stats and found that he had leveled up to an impressive 235. Yale had been feeling a bit stuck lately, as if he had hit a plateau in his progress. But he knew that if he stayed cooped up in the house, he wouldn't get any better. So, with a sense of determination, he gazed out into the dense forest beyond his yard, imagining the challenges that awaited him there. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream broke through his reverie, and Yale sprang into action. He grabbed his trusty spear and raced towards the source of the sound. As he approached, he saw a grisly scene of carnage, corpses strewn about, and a towering goblin general looming over them. But Yale wasn't alone in this fight. To his surprise, he spotted a human woman cowering nearby. With a fierce battle cry, he charged towards the general, launching his spear with all his might. Though the monster deflected the attack, it left itself vulnerable to Yale's swift drop kick, sending it reeling backwards. As Yale fought on, exchanging blows with the general, the woman warned him of another attacker sneaking up behind him. Yale deftly dodged the blow and engaged in a fierce battle, ultimately taking down the foe with a deft sword stroke. Breathless and victorious, Yale turned to check on the woman, only to find her unconscious. But before he could even wonder who she was, a voice called out her name, Lexia. Yale quickly vanished from sight, hiding himself from the approaching group as they tended to the woman's wounds. Though the battle was over, Yale knew that the adventure had only just begun. Who was this mysterious woman, and what kind of danger was she in? With a heart full of curiosity and a sword at his side, Yale was ready to find out. And this brings the second episode to an end. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Remember to like, share, and if you are new, please subscribe to our channel to get the notification of our latest video and everything be updated, and have a nice day. Thank you for watching my video.